icon series.
So children, we have seen the lesson part of the northern plains in the last class, and now it is time for us to do the activity part of this lesson, right? So the exercise start with fill in the blanks. So there are 5 sentences given there, and every sentence has a blank in that, okay? The sentence has a blank in that, and the bottom here we have got the options also, right? So here we have the options. So what we need to do now is we need to read the sentences one by one and check with the options given at the bottom, and then we need to select the suitable option so that we can complete the blank and make it a complete sentence, right? Okay. Now the first sentence: the Ganga rises from the Dash glacier in the Himalayas. So while dealing with the lesson part, we have seen the major rivers in the northern plains, which includes the Indus, River Satluj, River Yamuna, River Ganga, and River Brahmaputra. And the speciality of these rivers are, yes, they originate from the Himalayas, isn't it? Yes. And in the previous lesson, the northern mountains, we have also seen the rivers Ganga and Yamuna actually originates from glaciers, right? So what was the name of the glacier from which the river Ganga originates? Yes, that is a Gangotri, okay? So Gangotri is the name of the glacier from where Ganga rises, right? So the Ganga rises from the Gangotri glacier in the Himalayas. Second question. The Yamuna joins the Ganga with the river Saraswati at the place called Dash. So Ganga is a river that originates from the Himalayas. Yamuna is also a river that originates from the Himalayas. But Yamuna comes and joins Ganga. And the place where Yamuna and the river Saraswati joins Ganga is a Prayag, isn't it? Oh yeah, Prayag is also a devotional place, a holy place also. Third one. The Satluj Basin receives dash rainfall. So, out of the entire northern plains, we have seen that the Gangetic Basin receives good rainfall. The Brahmaputra Basin receives the greatest rainfall, the highest rainfall. And the Satluj Basin receives very less rainfall, isn't it? Yeah, so what is the answer? Very less rainfall. The Satluj Basin receives less rainfall. The dash in Tibet is called the Zangpo. Yeah, River Brahmaputra actually originates on the other side of Himalayas in Tibet. From there, it flows eastwards and nearly around Arunachal Pradesh, it crosses the Himalayas and comes into Indian region, isn't it? Yes. So in the northern side of Himalayas, where the Brahmaputra originates, that is in Tibet, and that is known as a Zangpo. Is it? Zangpo is the name of Brahmaputra in Tibet. So the river Brahmaputra in Tibet is called the Zangpo. Fifth one. The Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers form a dash along Bay of Bengal. This also we have seen. Ganga flows through West Bengal. It splits to make a branch, isn't it? Called the Hooghly River. And the other parts flows again eastwards, known as Patma, to which Brahmaputra comes from the eastern direction, joins. And all these together forms one of the biggest deltas in the world, known as a Sundarban Delta, isn't it? Yes. So the Ganga and the Brahmaputra rivers form a delta along the Bay of Bengal. Right? So we have completed all the 5 sentences now. We will read them once again. Right? The Ganga arises from Gangotri glacier in the Himalayas. The Yamuna joins the Ganga with the river Saraswati at a place called Prayag. The Satluj Basin receives less rainfall. The river Brahmaputra in Tibet is called the Zangpo. The Ganga and the Brahmaputra rivers form a delta along the Bay of Bengal. Right? Okay. Now, I'll keep this screen the same for another minute for you so that you can read these sentences once again. Okay. Okay. So now we will move on to the next question. Write T for true and F for false. So what we need to do now is read the sentences one by one, match that with what we have learned in the lesson, and if it agrees with what we have learned in the lesson, then we have to write a T there, and if it is against what we have learned in the lesson, then we need to write a F. Okay, so T stands for true, which matches with what we have learned in the lesson, and F stands for false, which doesn't match with what we have learned in the lesson. Okay, right. So 5 sentences are there, and we need to match the sentences with every sentence with what we have learned in the lesson. Right. First one, the Bakranangal Dam has been built on the river Ganga. We have read about the Bakranangal Dam, but that was not on river Ganga, isn't it? Yes, Bakranangal Dam has been built on the river Satluj and not a Ganga. So what is the answer? False. Second sentence. The Ganga originates as a Bhagirathi from a Gangotri glacier. True. Ganga originates from the Gangotri glacier, and when it originates, it's not called as a Ganga, but that is known as a Bhagirathi. Right? Third one, the Brahmaputra is called as Zangpo in Tibet. Yes, it's true, because Brahmaputra river is originating on the northern side of Himalayas, on the other side of Himalayas in Tibet, right? And from there it flows eastwards, and then throughout Tibet, the river Brahmaputra is called Zangpo, right? So we mark this sentence as true. Fourth sentence, the Satluj Basin receives heavy rainfall. Heavy rainfall is received at Brahmaputra Basin, isn't it? Brahmaputra Basin receives heavy rainfall. Gangetic Basin receives very good rainfall. And Satluj Basin receives very less rainfall, isn't it? Yes. The Yamuna Action Plan was launched by Sri Rajiv Gandhi. The Ganga Action Plan was launched by Sri Rajiv Gandhi, isn't it? Yes. After that, the government of India started with another plan with the Yamuna river, and that is known as Yamuna Action Plan, isn't it? Yes. So we will read the sentences once again. The Bakranangal Dam has been built on the river Ganga is a false statement, is a wrong statement because Bakranangal Dam has been built on the river Satluj. The Ganga originates as a Bhagirathi from a Gangotri glacier is a true statement. The Brahmaputra is called Zangpo in Tibet is again true. The Satluj Basin receives heavy rainfall is a false statement because Satluj Basin receives very less rainfall and Brahmaputra Basin receives very high rainfall, isn't it? Yes. The Yamuna Action Plan was launched by Sri Rajiv Gandhi is a wrong statement because Rajiv Gandhi started with the Ganga Action Plan, and after the success of the Ganga Action Plan, the government of India started with the Yamuna Action Plan. Right? Okay, so now I will keep this window the same for another minute for you so that you can, yes, read the sentences once again. Right? Fine. So now we'll go on to the next one. Name the following. So there are 5 descriptions given over here, and what does they refer to is also given as options at the bottom, right? So we need to read the descriptions and identify the item, what it describes, and yes, we need to drag and drop them over here. Fine. So the first one, a fertile soil made up of silt, rock particles and fine sand. A fertile soil made up of silt, rock particles and fine sand is called alluvial soil. We have seen it. The Himalayan rivers, as it flows down the hills, it brings a lot of silt, rock particles and fine sand, and that get spread along the plain during the floods, and it settles down, making the soil very fertile there, and that soil is called alluvial soil, isn't it? Second one, the 2 states located in the Satluj Basin. In the northern plains, in the northwestern side of India, we have Satluj Basin. And the states that lie in that region include Punjab, Haryana, right? So Punjab and Haryana are the states in India which lies in the Satluj Basin. The river joined by Satluj and Beas in Pakistan. We have seen that also. The rivers like Satluj, Beas, okay, they originate from the Himalayas, flows through India, crosses the Indian border, reaches the other side of Pakistan and joins which river there? Another Himalayan river named Indus, isn't it? Yes. So Satluj and Beas flows through India, crosses the border and joins the river Indus in Punjab, right? Next, the branch of Ganga that flows in Bangladesh. The branch of Ganga that flows in Bangladesh is a Patma. Actually, it's a wrong option. Okay, we'll keep it there, but the answer is a Patma because Hooghly is the branch of river Ganga that flows in India. Kolkata is located on the banks of Hooghly, and Patma is a branch of Ganga that flows into Bangladesh, and we have seen in the lesson also Brahmaputra that comes from the eastern side like Arunachal Pradesh and Assam gets into Bangladesh and joins Patma, right? So the option that is given over there is a wrong one. We need to change it as Patma. You can write that in the notebook, okay? The longest river of India is river Ganga, right? Okay. Now, we have identified all the 5 descriptions given over there. We will read it once again. A fertile soil made up of silt, rock particles and fine sand is called alluvial soil. The 2 states located in the Satluj Basin is Punjab and Haryana. The river joined by the Satluj and Beas in Pakistan is Indus. The branch of Ganga that flows in Bangladesh is Patma. The longest river in India is Ganga, right? So now I will keep the screen the same for another minute so that you can read the 5 sentences and the answers once again. Remember, we need to change the 4th one into Patma, okay? Fine, children, we will move on to the next question now. Answer the following questions. So we have got some questions and answers based on this lesson. So now we will answer the questions and answers, okay? Okay, the first question is, what is a basin? The first question is, what is a basin? Answer, the area which is watered by a river or its tributaries is called a basin. A basin is an area which is watered by a river or its tributaries, right? The next one. Why are the northern plains called the food bowl of India? Why are the northern plains called the food bowl of India? We know the northern plains are also known as the food bowl of India, isn't it? So why is the northern plain called as the food bowl of India? Answer, in the northern plains, the soil is very good for crops and helps to produce a large variety of crops every year. So, this region is called the food bowl of India. What's the answer? In the northern plains, the soil is very good for crops and helps to produce a large variety of crops every year. The soil is very fertile and that helps in the production of a large variety of crops. Okay, and that is why the region is called the food bowl of India. Right? Fine, we will move on to the next question. What is the Ganga Action Plan? So we have seen that the Prime Minister Sri Rajiv Gandhi had initiated the Ganga Action Plan, isn't it? So what is the Ganga Action Plan? The project launched by our former Prime Minister Sri Rajiv Gandhi to clean the river Ganga is called the Ganga Action Plan. So Ganga Action Plan was a plan which was initiated to clean the river Ganga out of all its polluting components, right? So the project launched by our former Prime Minister Sri Rajiv Gandhi to clean the river Ganga is called Ganga Action Plan. Right? Okay. Now, the next question. Where has the Bhakra Nangal Dam been built? So, where has the Bhakra Nangal Dam been built? The Bhakra Nangal Dam has been built on River Satluj. So, where was it built? The Bhakra Nangal Dam has been built on River Satluj. Next question. Where is Sundarban's Delta and which rivers form it? Where is Sundarban Delta? Sundarban Delta is in West Bengal. The rivers Ganga and Brahmaputra form this delta. The Sundarban Delta is in Bangladesh, West Bengal. The rivers Ganga and Brahmaputra form this delta. Right? Now the next question. Which important crops are grown in the Satluj and Ganga basin? Which important crops are grown in Satluj and Ganga basin? Wheat, grams, barley, sugarcane are some important crops that are grown in Satluj and Ganga basins. So what are the major crops that are grown in the Satluj and Ganga basin? Wheat, gram. Gram means green gram, red gram, black gram, dal. Then barley, sugarcane are some of the important crops that are grown in the Satluj and Ganga basin. Right? Okay, so now we are done with the question and answers. Move on to the next section. Project or activity. Make a list of the rivers with their tributaries which rise from the Himalayas. So what are the major rivers that rise from the Himalayas and which are their tributaries? So which are the rivers? River Ganga, River Satluj, River Yamuna and Brahmaputra are the rivers that originates from the Himalayas. River Ganga, River Satluj, River Yamuna and Brahmaputra are the rivers that originate from the Himalayas. The tributaries also we will check, okay. Ganga has Yamuna, Ram Ganga, Ghangra, Gandaki as their its tributaries. Which are the tributaries? Yamuna, Ram Ganga, Ghagra, Gandaki still are there. River Son is a tributary of Yamuna. Kosi is there, which comes from Nepal region, right? Okay. River Satluj has a Baspa, Spiti and Bias as its tributaries. Which are they? Baspa, Spiti, Bias. For Yamuna, Chambal, Betwa and Sindh are the tributaries. For Brahmaputra, Dibang, Lohit, Kolong are the tributaries. Okay. Okay, now we'll go on to the next one. Second one, the project or the activity. Find the names of 5 important cities which are located on the banks of a river. So we need to identify 5 important cities which are located on the banks of a river. So the city, the river, and the state are mentioned in a tabular form. So city is Agra, which is located on the banks of river Yamuna in the state of Uttar Pradesh, on the western part of Uttar Pradesh, right? Second city is Allahabad. Allahabad is at the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. Confluence means the meeting place. So Allahabad is a place where all the 3 rivers, Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati, are supposed to get meet, right? And it is in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Kolkata is a city on the river Hooghly in the state of West Bengal. New Delhi is on the banks of river Yamuna in Delhi. Hyderabad is on the banks of river Musi in the state of Telangana. Patna is on the banks of river Ganga in Bihar. Varanasi is again on the banks of river Ganga in Uttar Pradesh. Vijayawada is located on the banks of river Krishna in Andhra Pradesh. Lucknow is situated on the banks of river Gomti in Uttar Pradesh. Right? So now I will keep the screen the same for another minute for you so that you can, yes, have a look at the table and the data once again. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next one. So the next question, why are plains near river basin fertile and suitable for farming? Why are the river plains or the plains near the river basins very fertile and suitable for farming? The answer, the rivers bring down fine soil called silt from the mountains. During the rainy season, the rivers overflow and the silt, rocks and fine sand are deposited on the land. These sediments make up a fertile soil which is called the alluvial soil. It's very good for crops and helps to produce a large variety of crops every year. That's why the plains near the river basins are fertile and suitable for farming. So, in relation with the Himalayan rivers, we have already seen this. The rivers that come from the mountains carry a lot of waste particles, sand, silt, rock parts, and all, isn't it? And during the rainy season, these rivers flood, and all these things, the silt, the waste, the rock particles, and the sand, they get along with the flooding water on the plains around the river, and they get settled there. And they form a very fertile soil. We call it the alluvial soil. This alluvial soil is very good for crops. We can cultivate a large number of crops in that, and we get a very good crop also, right? And that is why the plains around the river basins are very fertile and good for agriculture, right? Okay. So now I'll keep the screen the same for another minute for you. You can read the question and the answers once again. Fine, children, that is for the lesson, the northern plains, right? So you can read the questions, the lesson, and the activities and the question parts in the PDF, which is also there along with this lesson. And till we meet in the next class with the new lesson, stay home, stay safe, take care. Bye.